Hello, my name is Karl-Heinz Bosch. I'm Managing Director of FGM Amor, and I'm going to present to you the highlights of the Metamorphosis project, the transformation of neighborhoods in a child-friendly way to increase the quality of life for all citizens. That was the aim of Metamorphosis. So, if you look at a caterpillar, it can grow quantitatively and gets bigger and bigger. It gets faster, it gets heavier, it's more or less more of the same. There's also another way of growth, that's the qualitative growth, that's the qualitative leap. And that's the metamorphosis via a chrysalis or cocoon to a beautiful butterfly that is complex, versatile, unexpected, graceful. That's the qualitative metamorphosis, and that's what we were aiming for. Here you see an example of quantitative growth. Our cars get bigger and bigger, more of the same. Another example are the roads. They get bigger and bigger, more of the same. The qualitative leap in metamorphosis here in a city street in my hometown. There's the planning phase, how we can transform it, and then you see the result, a street that can be used completely differently and has taken a qualitative leap. So, this is a very popular idea because if you ask people if if streets should be transformed and street space should be reallocated in favor of pedestrians and cyclists, you see that the vast majority is in favor of such ideas. This is a representative questionnaire in German cities. And for this transformation, we use children because that's the most simple indicator for the living quality in a city. The number of children that you see on a street shows you that the street is healthy. And children can be radical questioners, they can act as facilitators, they can be evaluators and can be the judges of things are nice or not so nice. They are also great motivators, also for parents, because parents want to protect their children, they want to have playing space for them. And so children can act also as disseminators, which you can see, for example, in the recycling of waste. It was a very effective tool to change the opinion of parents. And this also happened in the Metamorphosis project, where children help their parents to rethink what should be done with streets. But it was quite challenging because we had to look at the ethics, we had to have informed consent procedures, we had an own work package, we had to think about data protection, about taking pictures, all these things had to be considered. And we even had an independent ethics advisor, but we managed all this in the project. You see, we had a range of cities from England to Romania, and every city was accompanied by a research consultancy or organization that helped them in the evaluation, in the setup of the project, also in a scientific way. We had a lot of activity fields. One was the temporary opening of streets. Then there were interventions in public space. We had some educational tools where we went into the schools and helped children to become involved in the whole process. We wanted to empower children to be active in active mobility. We had sometimes used crystallization points to get some activities joined at a certain point in the city. And when we had developed this whole thing, we also developed the planning procedures that they could be, these ideas could be integrated into the sustainable urban mobility plans of cities. This was not possible in every city, but in some cities we managed to do this. Here are some examples. This is in Southampton, where we eased the openings of community streets. So temporary closure of streets was made much more easy for street parties. In the city of Tilburg, there was an analysis of the environment of the schools, that you have a safe trip to school, and they also analyzed the danger points and were active in the transformation of their school environments. There is already a school model in Bolzano where we have what we call acupuncture for cities. So we would like that this temporary school closure that already was developed in Bolzano was transferred to other cities, and there were experiments with this in Meran and also in other cities. And you can see that here in Vienna, they quite changed the environment. Then in Alba Iulia in Romania, we had crystallization point urban gardening experiments. We also had this in Graz and in the city of Meran. Very nice experiment was in the city of Munich, the walking trees. So we could, with these trees, we could put them into streets as an experiment, and immediately would people could see how the street was transformed into an alley. Yeah? And so they could see this immediately, and then they could ask, okay, we want this on a more permanent basis. Here in Merano, there was a skater ramp as a crystallization point to fight against illegal car parking. So you see in this area here, there was always illegal car parking, and they just built a ramp there and made a party, and so that people became aware of the problem, that it was blocked for some time from cars, and after that was much less illegal parking. We had in Graz, the street as an extended school play area and as a living lab for a new space distribution. And there we also had this experiment how you can slowly, by little things, you can start to transform a street. So first you reclaim the street for one day, then you try to have it on a more regular basis, so every second month or on special days. And then the next step is that you have a permanent freeing from car traffic for all the school hours, that you integrate it in the traffic calming into school lessons, and that you inspire activities in all residential areas on all around schools. So the know-how travels from place to place. And in the city of Zurich, we had neighborhood analysis from children. A SharePoint was used. We had a painting of a pedestrian tunnel. And were on-street lessons in arts and handicrafts. And in Graz, we had these hybrid zones, and one of the aspects was a neighborhood breakfast. We also had tools that transformed parking spaces just by putting vehicles there. For example, this space transformer, that was the first experiment. And then we had an even more mobile one, which was a bicycle that is legal to park, and people can just use it. So, and you can instantly transform a parking space into a more into a space that is more supportive for urban living. Yeah, one EU project. We have a lot of activity fields, 7 cities, and there were 66 fact sheets. And in each one of these fact sheets, you can find a short description, outcomes, impacts, process information. So a lot of information, very condensed about all these measures you can find on the website of Metamorphosis. You can also download the brochures it's in 10 different languages, and you have infographics and presentations for every activity field. And here to end, one final absurd example. So if you want to have a playing space for children on a parking space, if you put this in a car, that's allowed. But if you just put it on the parking space, it's forbidden. It's quite strange how we deal with our public space. So what we knew is that we need a new normal where we don't think of public space only reserved for cars, but it's also for children, for people, and for urban life. Thank you very much. You can contact my colleague, the coordinator, Karl Reiter, and you can download all the materials from the website. Thank you.